This is a Corner Chat. Let's talk business with Mr. Daniel Steinman. I am your hostess, Elsabe Timyani. A warm welcome to all our listeners, and of course, a warm welcome to Mr. Daniel Steinman himself.
Thank you, Elsabe.
And what will we be talking about today?
I couldn't think of something, but I first have to tell the listeners of an incident that happened in this past week.
Okay.
I went to a shop. I had to go buy something, but something fairly expensive, a big thing for a car. But it's not the luxury. I had to go buy it. I had to replace it.
You didn't have a choice.
I didn't have a choice. So I went there, and I was talking and carrying on my usual way, and I was telling the guys behind the counter, it's tough money-wise, and I'm just trying to get a discount. Nothing else. And this one guy looked at me. He said, "Aren't you the guy who's talking on the radio?"
Oh, wow.
So he blew me off immediately.
Okay, that's nice to hear.
He deflated my
nice to hear.
And I said, "Yes, how do you know?" He said, No. Then he said 99. I said, no, not 99. 99 is a swear word. 100. He said, yes. So that took me by surprise.
Yeah, it's nice to hear that.
And when I had to fork out the money for this component for my car, and while I'm groveling there for a discount, I came under the impression again of the role of money, what money does in our lives. And now I'm not just talking about the typical or the usual perception of money, or the lack of it, usually with most of us, but money as a commodity. And I can see your eyebrows lifting up, and you're looking at me like an owl. How can you classify or define money as a commodity? And this is what I want to talk about. It borders on the philosophical. It tends to be a bit abstract, and I don't think many people really give it much thought. What is money? What does it do? I think what I usually think about is the lack of money, or not enough money, or where can I get more money? That sort of thing.
It's always the question, where can I get more?
Where can I get more? What must I do? But this is now very interesting. Money is about value. And 1,000 years ago, the value was very easy to determine, because it all belonged to the king or the emperor or the Kaiser.
Yeah.
And when you took your chickens in a cage on the back of your little ox wagon to the market, you exchange your chickens for a leg of pork, or a few cobs of corn, or maybe a little bit of grain, wheat. You could even exchange it for an axe or a saw, something that you need for timber to cut rafters, to build a house, or build a boat, or whatever, You couldn't really exchange it for money. Now think back a little bit more than 2,000 years ago. When you think of the story of Jesus and the role of money that it played in the life of him and his disciples. And suddenly it strikes you, if we read in the New Testament of money, there's one place where he sends Peter to go catch the fish, and in his mouth he will find a sestertius. Sestertius is more or less the Roman 50 cent of that time. And then there are, if you take Judas, he sold out on Jesus for money, 40 ingots of silver, I think it is the value there. So remember, I said just now that money constitutes value. That sounds a bit obvious, duh, are you talking to us, that sort of thing? But it's a very, very important concept, because make that value more, or you can make that value less. And this is where the whole trick with money comes into your life. Is that, are you going to make the money in your life more, its value, or are you going to make it less? And this is almost like a, not a lecture, more like a lesson.
Yeah.
That I want to impart. What is the value of your money? And that's a big question.
It is indeed. And I cannot wait to come back from the short break so that I can hear more from this very interesting conversation. So do not go away. We will be right back.